Affinity Xtra, be extra.
I'm going to bring Kevin in a second, but it's just been a long one. It's important for us to document our conversations. It's massive, the technology that we have, that we document this information 100%. And what I would want to do is encourage people out there who's doing stuff to document what we're doing, because a lot of times within our community, a lot of information is missed because we don't document. Where we document is to have conversation and to record, and then if you want to pull apart the facts, but this conversation that we're about to have is going to be facts. So if you're watching this on YouTube and if you can, okay, I want to know all about the hits of what Isley Brothers, I want to jump up and down and vibe to their tracks. We're not here for that. We're here to look at the facts and figures, because when somebody tells you that black music is not strong enough, the figures say something different, and we have died because of a lack of knowledge. We've assumed that our sound is not in demand. Now, it's important for us to go through it. So if you want to subscribe to this video, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to the station, download the app of these conversations. If you want to listen to these interviews anytime you want, it's on SoundCloud, it's on PodBean. Check these out, and we're always documenting our stuff out there. But this is myself, Roger, here, celebrating gospel music of black origin. The reason why I'm doing that, because no one else is celebrating it. So we are, so we are unashamedly doing it, man. But listen, let me just bring in my esteemed guest, Kevin, who's outside enjoying the sun. I had my son this morning playing football. Kevin, can we make sure we can hear you loud and clear?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, bro.
Good. Fantastic.
Yeah, man. So, bro, yes. So you're in the park now, so we can hear the birds. Oh.
By the way, I've got some students as part of my audience. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay,
cool. Nah, that's brilliant, bro. Yeah, man, we do this live, and I think it's fantastic, bro. And I think that I really do, first and foremost, appreciate as a historian, and really appreciate the time that you take out. And I know we both had conversations offline to say, how much we're passionate about documenting this for the next generation, for them to stand on. Yeah. And the time is now to do it. Now, just put everyone in a picture. A few weeks ago, I'm there sitting down, and there's a verses between Earth, Wind and Fire and Isley Brothers. Yeah. Yes. Now, I was like, I'm a church boy, so I can get the Kirk versus Fred Hammer thing, yeah. And some of us church, but I know a couple of the guys then were putting out some stories in the presenters thing. I'm not gonna bait them out, but they were enjoying the whole Isley Brothers, and I'm thinking, oh, did they do that track? Oh my gosh, did they do that track? Oh my gosh, did they? And then I phoned Kevin. It's Kevin. Have you heard much about Isley Brothers? Kevin just went crazy. Isley, you got to know about these guys. And I'm thinking, all I know them for is one track, like do 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 do. Anyway, do 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 do. You know what I'm saying? So all I know them for is that track, and that has been sampled. It's the only reason why I know it is because of the Brat, because of Big, the whole guys who sampled off it, yeah.
Oh, you mean Biggs and them?
Yeah. So all them sampled it. Now, I do know that, and we'll do this in a different conversation, that James Brown was the most sampled artist in the history of music. He had sample licks all day long. But I thought, you know what? They had the verses between Earth, Wind and Fire and Isley Brothers, yeah? Now, Earth, Wind and Fire had a sound, yeah? There's this whole funk sound thing going on, and Isley Brothers had something going on as well. But it's not until I spoke to Kevin, I realized, hold on a second, these guys go back, way back, yeah? And I just thought I have to take this time out in this last half an hour part of the show, is let's have a little bit of a focal point on the Isley Brothers, and we can touch about, just get a bit, because when we were talking, Kev, I was learning, going, hold on, they know so-and-so, so bro, just bring us in. Where did it all start for the Isley Brothers?
Well, the Isley Brothers actually started in the 50s, actually. Their first million seller was 1959, actually. In fact, 1959. But these men were from Cincinnati, Ohio. And also, their roots is in the church, bro.
Okay, church musicians. Okay.
Yeah, they started in the church. They used to support their father and other people, going around and ministering in different churches in the locality.
Bro, let me put a pin on that. Imagine you're doing worship service with the Isley Brothers as the band. Bro,
yes,
that would have been a jam and a half. Just getting excited about that one. But just imagine the Isley Brothers going, this is what people don't realize, what we were doing in the 90s and the 60s and the 50s. We had world-class bands going in on worship and developing and evolving. And anyway, I'm just getting excited. Go, bro. Go.
Yeah, so they used to have 4 members initially, and unfortunately, one of their brothers died. Vernon died in an auto accident.
Oh.
And they decided to quit music. It was painful seeing one of the members of the family died. And their parents encouraged them. Their dad encouraged them to get back into music. And so they form again as a trio. And then they went to New York. They worked with a few local labels. Then they arrived in New York, and they were performing at a theatre in New York. I can't remember the Howard Theatre. No, sorry, it was the Howard Theatre in Washington D.C. Okay. And a recording executive by the name of Howard Blam, Bloom, witnessed their performance, and he was quite impressed.
Okay.
And he decided to give them a recording contract with RCA Records.
Okay, not bad.
So one of the students is trying to get behind it. Yeah, so he got. So what actually happened? They recorded 2 singles. The first single wasn't a success, but they recorded another single, which was called "Shout."
Okay.
In 1959, and it sold 1 million copies. Boom.
Just like that.
Just like that. 1 million copies. It was absolutely a smash. The reason why it was an interesting track, it was a call and response, sort of a gospel track, from the gospel tradition. You would say that it was a prelude, a prototype for what is to come, with the Aretha Franklins and the Sam Cooke, etc. Yeah?
Okay, you just said
you
that.
Follow me so far?
Bro, you said that a bit casually. Sam Cooke and Aretha Franklin kind of worked. Okay, cool. Bring us in, man. Bring us into the knowledge, bro.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's the prototype, what is to come. Because they were all developing in gestation, developing. And it was just a matter of time when that music takes center stage and become the norm of the day, you see. Yes?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me, bro.
Now, after that, which was interesting, they recorded for different labels across the way.
Yeah.
And then they hit again, roughly roundabout with Swan. Swan is WAND Records, which was a record company that was contracted to Atlantic Records.
Okay, yeah.
That was in 1962. They had the next big hit.
Okay.
It was called Swing, Twist and Shout. Beg your pardon, to get it there. Twist and Shout.
Okay.
And that also was a monster hit as well. It sold over 1 million copies. So between 59 and 62, that's the distance between the 2 biggest hits.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, that's a big distance. Okay, cool.
So you could say that Isley Brothers is one of the few recording acts of bands that managed to have hits in 2 decades, you know.
Okay,
59,
okay, yeah,
at
yeah,
the end of 59,
yeah.
and then the early 60s, right? So, during that time, of course, take care, have a good evening. I was just saying goodbye to my students.
That's cool.
Yeah, then right about that time, I think, I'm trying to remember exactly when it was, but sometime during the 60s, Jimi Hendrix came into the equation.
Yeah, man. Jimmy.
That is a serious brother right there.
Yeah, man.
Jimi Hendrix actually resided at their house for 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay.
So he became part of the family. The Isley Brothers knew that he was unique. They knew that he was a unique guitarist.
Yeah, he was
left-handed guitarist. Whoa.
Yeah.
And he influenced Ernie Isley, one of the younger siblings. Yes. And one thing that you need to remember, up to that time, the Isley Brothers, when Jimi Hendrix was part of their band, there were 3 of them as a trio at the time. Yeah?
Okay.
They didn't become a big band until the late 60s, early 70s.
70s, isn't it?
That's when
correct.
Yes, that's when they really get to rock. That's when they sound.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, prior to actually hitting the 70s, they had about 3 or 4 years with Motown Records. Would you believe it?
Okay. But bro, I want to emphasize something that you said, bro. I want to because Jimi Hendrix is the guitarist, which is the guitarist for rock. You know what I mean? And and I didn't even really thought he interacted with anybody else within the community. I thought just went out there, did his thing. But it's clear he's worked with great black bands as well. You know what I mean? Not only went solo and did his thing out in the rock world, and it's great to see that.
As far as I was told that he also did some session work on band work with the OJs as well during the 60s and so on.
Wow.
Oh yes. So he worked with a few R&B bands, of course, and vocal bands.
Yeah.
And then, but Isley Brothers was, I think, one of the longest duration in terms of touring. The sad thing about it is that they didn't really get any hits with Jimi Hendrix and such when he was a member, but his influence was with them. That was demonstrated during the 70s.
Good.
You could hear it.
Yeah, man.
We'll get to that in a minute. Get to that.
Cool.
Now, I keep on looking at my notes because with the Isley Brothers, they go about nearly 5 decades, you know, in terms of recording.
Bro, I'm looking at the timeline right now, but I'm looking at discography. People, you have to recognize that it's popping tracks from 1959 right up to 2017. Power of Pace.
Yes. These brothers are monster.
And it's also to emphasize, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, and I might be a bit controversial for this, yeah? But the reason why the UK gospel artists are suffering now after doing great works and great talent is because they never recorded multiple bodies of work. They didn't seem to have the habit to have that many. They don't have much of their material. I'm looking at this material, bro. It's literally every year or every other year they're releasing out material. You know what I mean? You did say that they never really made too many hits in the 60s, like 60s and 70s and whatever, but they kept on putting material,
Just a correction.
Okay, go for it.
The 70s was the beginning of their golden period, golden era. But let's go back a bit.
Okay, go for it.
The body of work that they recorded with RCA Record, etc., has become hits today. They've sold quite large numbers, even in the UK. I will talk to you about that on a separate occasion. But right now, one key thing is that, like myself as a visual artist, it's important to keep on producing and exploring, because you never know which track can become a hit for somebody else, which you wrote.
Okay.
Written.
Okay.
That is, you create a body of work.
Yeah.
Right. It might not be a hit today, but it could be a hit 10 years from now.
Come on now. Come on now, bro.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's vitally important to keep on improving on your sonic development or musical intelligence or creative intelligence. It's vitally important because there's a barrier that you need to break before you become sonically excellent. And the Isley Brothers, during the 60s, they were doing that exploration. They were developing, they were getting tighter vocally, start developing themselves. And so by the time they reached the early 70s, late 60s, this is where it gets interesting. They did a few tracks with Motown, working with Olin, Dozer and Olin, some of the best production teams at Motown. Olin, Dozer. Those are the same people who did the Supreme stuff, and the Four Tops, Baby Love, etc. And one of the distinguished tracks they did was This Old Heart of Mine. This Old Heart of Mine. Remember that track?
Okay.
This Old Heart of...
Oh yeah. That is their signature track for Motown. So they did about two albums with Motown. One was This Old Art of Mine, and the other one, The Rocks. Okay,
right?
I can see it. Yeah,
It was Soul on the Rocks.
Soul on the Rocks. Yeah.
1966 and 1967. There's two. Yeah,
I can see it. Yeah,
both albums on the Tomlin label, which is a subsidiary of Motown Records. Then, after they left Motown, this is where it gets interesting, my brethren.
Go on, talk to me.
The brothers actually re-established their own label, which is called T-Net label.
Okay.
Yeah, they had their own label, they had their own record label. Would you believe it?
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Develop and we grow.
Yes. This is what a music historian or author says, according to Hugh Gregory of Music Soul A to Z 1995. He said, the studio album It's Your Thing, the title track established them with a major crossover success in the white audience.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The album sold over 2 million copies.
That's
and
not
it
bad
was
for you.
on their label. 2 million copies.
On your own label, mate. I wouldn't mind doing that now.
This was 1969 this happened. Yeah? 1969. It was a funky and groovy sound which began to develop their unique sound with Ron Isley as the main leader. Ron Isley, he had that distinguished voice. And then it said new additions of the family members included Ernest, who was the rhythm guitarist that emulate the sound of Hendrix. He was influenced by Hendrix and Slide and the Stones, these people, that funky groove with a sort of rock fusion element to it. Yeah. And then the other younger sibling was Marvin Isley, bass and percussion. And then one of the brothers' brother-in-law, which is Chris Jasper, who's married to one of the Isleys, family. Yeah.
Oh,
I was on keyboard.
Keyboards. He did the keyboard in his hand thing and Dan.
Yeah, that's all them stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
And that helped to enrich the original members' overall sound. So that was a new addition. So they went from 4 members to an additional 3 members, 6. Call it six members. Yeah, correct. So it was the 1970s where they became prolific. This is just a quick overview. They sold in succession 9 gold and platinum albums during the 70s, bro.
Bro,
9
that's
gold.
stupid. Bro, that's no
and
manners, you know, bro.
platinum.
Absolutely no
What's that?
manners. That's no manners. Because I'm looking at this, bro. The man them set up their label. No manners,
Set
people.
up their
there.
label.
Set up their label. Of
On their label, bro. That is
1970.
their label.
In 1970, they bought out one. Get into something. Next 71, they bought out Giving It Back. Next year, brother. 73, 3 plus 3. Live It Up, 74. The Heat Is On, 75. Harvest for the World.
The heat is on. Hey, back up a bit. The heat is on.
Well,
The heat is on. The heat is on was a pop number 1 and R&B number 1 album. Folks chart one time. Boom.
That's 75.
That was a monster. That was a monster hit, bro.
76.
Monster hit.
Harvest for the World. 77. Go for Your Guns. Showdown. 78. 79. Winners Takes All. And then 1980. Go All the Way. Now that is hit album after album, bro. So
It was.
wait,
Listen. Also,
jeez, that's working,
this is
bro.
interesting about the albums. This is interesting about the albums as well. The albums, some of the albums was recorded on the West Coast, the early ones. They were recorded on the West Coast, and then they went to the East Coast, and their recording base became Bearsville. Bearsville was next to Woodstock, upstate New York. That was their recording base. Yeah. That was the recording base where they developed their signature sound on a different level.
Okay,
The
expand on that
unique
word,
yeah.
signature sound, bro, because I think that, I think we in the UK, the one thing we do say is that we have no sound, and we haven't got a defined sound, and I don't think artists are prepared to put the work in like an Isley Brothers, because everybody looks at their success, bro, but they don't see the hard work. It's not easy to release an album, and them are the days where you had to practice the stuff and record it on 8-track, mix it, master it in big equipment studio. You had to get the specialists in, record it on vinyl. There was no Spotify, there was no send it over. You had to have a proper system in place, and to do that hit after hit from 69 all the way every year. I'm looking at this list now, right up to 1983. Have a little breakout, come back, and start spreading them out a little bit in the latter part of the 80s, and then obviously cool down a bit later. But to do that, you give yourself a chance that a hit that might not work today. And this is what people need to get in the head, bro. Sometimes we do stuff that it takes 20 years to become a hit. And I know artists that have done stuff back in their 20s, and when they get a call, oh sorry, the track's blown up in Japan. We're gonna send some copyright money to you because they want to use this track out there still, because you took the time to record and deliver and to output. And if you do it properly, you put yourself in to be blessed. And hip hop, they never knew about hip hop, bro. Explain, bro. Isley Brothers never knew hip hop was about to come out, bro. And hip hop and R&B needed their licks. Needed them licks. But anyway, guys, I thought I'd just put out there. And bear in mind that Roger's not an Isley Brothers fan. Roger's just into the beauty of hard work in the music industry. Go for it, bro. Signature sound, bro. Just expand on that.
As I said, that what made Isley Brothers very unique is Ernest's guitar solos, which had a rock fusion element to it, with a mix with the soul and funk, you see. So that sent it onto a different sonic playing field.
And that's Jimmy's influence there on a young man, and then he just excelled. Yes,
that's right. So he became the main heartbeat of the band, Ernest. And the interesting thing is that they worked as a very tight team, because remember, they had their own label, right? So they did everything in-house. They have their special engineer at Bearsville that knew what they were looking for sonically. He knew what they were looking for. So he was very prepared to work with them 24/7 to get that sound. Yes.
Yeah.
So that led to these outstanding, brilliant albums, right?
Jeez.
I mean, the thing is that it's important. You can't really, when it comes to Isley Brothers, you can't really analyze them in one radio program. I'm sure you understand.
But I'm looking at this, bro, and I listen, guys. I cheekily asked Kevin to do like a half an hour with me today, yeah, just to emphasize this, because I got excited when I heard the stats, and I am totally utterly gobsmacked already into who these guys are. I didn't really know much about these guys, to be honest, people. I'm gonna be in my ignorant self. I just love to celebrate black people in music, and I love to see what we can learn, that we can move forward in the UK gospel scene. I'm very passionate about that still, yeah. But bro, like, bro, there's stupid hits here, bro. There's absolutely stupid. So, what sort of figures overall are we looking at when it comes to these guys going? Let's just carry on the figures, bro. In the 70s, you're talking about gold. Well, what does gold mean?
Okay. Gold is gold during the 70s could be 1 million copies, you know, but it was only until 1976 that you had the platinum status, and platinum is when your album goes 1 million copies and above.
Okay, so what's gold again? Sorry.
Gold from 1976 onwards is if your album goes over 500,000 units in the US.
Okay.
500,000. Now, let me just say this to Isley Brothers had 10 platinum albums, bro. 10 platinum during their career so far, right up to the 2000. 10 platinum. That means 10 albums that sold 1 million and above. Some of the albums did 2 million copies, you know. Like, for instance, The Eat Is On did 2 million copies. Going for Your Guns did 2 million copies. All right? Do you get the idea now?
I get the idea, totally, bro.
And with 13 albums that were gold albums, 13, which bring the figures up to 15.5 million copies, according to Recording Industry Association of America. 15.5 million copies. That's just albums, you know, not singles, bro. Just albums.
Time out, guys. Time out. I'm tapping out. Yeah.
That's just to give you an idea. And most of the albums were distributed through their T-Neck record label via CBS Records. Okay, because you remember with CBS, which is interesting with CBS Records, CBS had two record labels, black record labels going at the same time that they were distributing. They were distributing Philadelphia International, which the OJs and the 3 Degrees were on, Teddy Prendergast,
yeah,
and also they were distributing T-Net Records.
Okay. So something that I'm looking at now still, bro. You see, you got these guys who have got, according to what's in front of me, obviously these could be facts into. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. You got 31 albums released over a career. Yeah. And
31 approximately. Yeah, that's right. 31
records.
Yeah.
And
31.
I have to say, guys, yeah, you have to salute the hard work and you it's something like you said. There's a couple of points here, and I want to look at application points. You know, we get to the application part of the message, bro. Yeah, and I think sometimes people look at history. And they look at the history about, okay, that's nice, and let me just move forward. But look at the application points that you can apply and you can learn from history. Wars are not won because they come up with great ideas. They learn from bad mistakes. And I keep on saying to people, if you're a true historian, you would know that Churchill screwed up in World War One, yeah, and then he came back and he learned from the mistakes, and that's why D-Day was successful. Apart from a couple of looks, he learned from the Allies' mistake in with the Anzac soldiers in the Mediterranean, with going to the Black Sea. So if you check, so we've got to learn from our history, look at the lack of success.
That's correct.
And then and reapply from it. Now, we haven't got many great successes in the UK. We've got Kevin. We've been around and we talked about, you know, when we in our GMI meetings, we talk about successful singers like Levine Hudson was successful, New Colours was successful, but a consistent body of work at the level of Isley Brothers, is almost not seen in the UK. Maybe this is the question that we need to open up and really have a conversation about, is the forces in the UK not allowing this to happen like in America, or that the spirit of black people in the UK is just seemed to, okay, it never worked out, so I'll walk away. You know what I mean? You know, what is it that really stops us from realizing? I realize, bro, when I do this and I'm started doing the radio show, I have to be consistent and hard working doing this. And when I get successful, ain't no one begrudging me because I put the effort in. Yeah. What is it with our artists that thinks that they can just release that one album every 7-8 years and to call that success and try to be successful?
Well, the thing about it is releasing the albums is one thing, but the sonic quality of the album, and the work behind it, and who you're working with. This is some of the key facts that is vitally important. It depends on the team you're with, the repertoire development, the learning to analyze brilliant sonic work, sonic production, analyzing it, and finding out why this particular album or this particular track is a benchmark, and why is it legendary, and why is it impacting generations to come. You have to operate in that level. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example.
Come now.
When Teddy Pendergast released his first album, prior to releasing it in 1977, which is self-titled Teddy Pendergast, Gambler Enough and the rest of the production team said, we want a platinum with this. So they decided we're going to get a platinum with this, and we want it to be sonically brilliant from first track to the end.
Okay.
They made a decision. So psychologically, they came in with that purpose to make it as sonically brilliant as possible.
Good.
So and what we need to remember as well, historically, the British establishment is not very good and very good at establishing long-term hit-making black entities. It's just, you know, they might be around for a few years and disappear, but America is the only country in the Western world which had produced hit-making entities that have a 4, 5, 6 decades worth of material. And the Isley Brothers, when you think about the Isley Brothers, is one of the few recording acts that has hit of 2 or 3 platinum albums, or two gold album and 1 platinum album during the 2000s. You think about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at that word, bro. It's ridiculous.
And then Mission to Please was platinum during the 90s. Then Between the Sheets was platinum with a #1 single. I mean, they had about, say, 3 gold and platinum albums during the 80s, and the rest during the 70s, and
Crazy.
1 during the late 60s. So in actual fact, that's 4 decades, over 4 decades worth of sonic materials which were certified. And they have certifications in the UK as well, bro. Okay? So the fact is that if you look at it globally, probably you could say that the Isley Brothers probably sold over 50 million copies in albums and singles globally in the different markets, in the different music markets. The brothers are big. When Earth, Wind and Fire actually peak in terms of certifications, the Isley Brothers were still rocking it in the 2000s.
Gee. And you know, I really want to celebrate Black excellence, and and I know we grow up in church and it says you don't listen to secular music and don't do this, and you know understand that. Me personally, guys, I don't really listen to secular music, so I don't have these albums and so on, but you have to celebrate Black excellence, and you see the mentality of business, the ability of and something which I saw in as a producer in the UK gospel scene is that artists do not want to listen to people who are experienced and gifted in other areas of music to lift the song to another level. Artists have an opinion, but when you're going into a room full of elite musicians, you are allowing them to take what you have and take it to another level and let them do it. There's something about us that almost says, oh, this is how God showed me how it's going to be, so you can't do that. But the guy's saying, to be played at BBC, you need to do this. This is what it's expecting you to do. No. This is not how I heard the track. No, but I feel that I've seen it too often, and I feel that UK acts, you've got to come into this thing and appreciate the gifts. It's literally what's happened, Kevin. It's like, I feel that, and it's not a bashing on the gospel artists. I'm just trying to learn the application, because Isley Brothers wasn't an entity by themselves. They learned and developed throughout the system. They worked with great musicians to evolve into what they were in the 70s. It wasn't just a hit straight away in 90. Well, they did well in the late 50s, but they moved on from there and they got there. It's something that we need to learn from and say, okay, hold a second, yeah. You know, they worked with Motown. Why did they work with Motown? They didn't work with them. They worked with the best of the best that they could get access to. Jimi Hendrix, yo, you can do some stupidness in the guitar. Ernie, come watch this guy. Learn from this guy. For when he goes and does his thing, you're ready to take over. So Ernie, they're watching him, watching the next generation. Then bam, he goes and does some absolute madness himself. So for me, it's important that we learn from the efforts and the ability of being in a room with greater people in certain areas and allowing them. We're not a tennis. This is not tennis singles doing the music industry. It's a football team. There's 11 players on the pitch, and I think we treat it as if it's a singles game at Wimbledon. I don't know. What would you say to my comments there, Kevin? Am I going a bit too?
No, not particularly. First of all, let's track back a bit. The best musicians come from the church. It is a known fact.
So straight,
They are the thing about it. They are the on-call musicians and string arrangers. Actually, one of the top string arrangers in the world at the moment. Well, he's sort of retired, but he's been in demand right up till 2020. Is Benjamin Wright Jr., who's from the church. Benjamin Wright Jr. has actually did strings arrangement and conduct the Nobel Peace Prize in Norway on 2 occasions. They call him back. He was that brilliant. Brother, with Benjamin Wright, that's another story. We could, what he's done is, I'll give you an example of one of his string arrangements. Was Stop Till You Get Enough by Michael Jackson. You ever listen to that track?
Yeah.
That is it. That he did the strings on that, and then he did the strings on Boogie Wonderland for the Earth, Wind and Fire.
Okay.
And then he worked on all Justin Timberlake's albums. Did the strings on several of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Timberland. Yeah, it was Timberland.
Yeah. I'm just having
Anyhow,
a look at
anyhow.
anyways, like that's another subject in itself. But
That's another subject
in its total self, and we've only just scraped the surface of Isley Brothers. Guys.
Yeah, we just scraped the surface.
We just thought we'd just tease it out there because of the versus battle that I had with Earth, Wind, Fire. And when I touched base with Kevin, I was like, whoa, these guys, like I said, produce hit after hit after hit.
Yeah, and hit after hit, bro.
And the work rate is incredible. And again, I encourage people, before you start this thing called gospel music, if you want to really do it, and if you really got to make the changes, you've got to have a team around you to really produce these levels. Yeah, and I'm learning, Kevin, for myself. If I am going to be working with artists in the future, you know, I'm enjoying my break right now. This is my expectation. I ain't I'm not doing no play thing anymore. Yeah, because we're here to break certain molds, and this is important for me as a team player within Affinity Xtra, but also at the same time as somebody who wants to see the positivity for the injury for the industry. And both of us are, because we're both in the GMIA, and you know, we're both looking at, we just want to do a little shout out for Black Lives in Music. We're doing a survey, and I think that one of the most do you guys check out Black Lives in Music? Do check it out, guys, and do the survey as a black musician or black somebody who's in the industry black. Please do it, because it's important that the industry get to realize how much part to play that we have. And also in the survey, it talks about the injustices that we have, and I think the more we document this and bring this together, the more the facts are on the table that we can actually petition and make changes.
That's right. That's right.
We can't make petition based upon Roger's moan or rant on a YouTube video, or Kevin's rant on a YouTube video. It has to be from facts and figures with a rant. So that's why when I have a conversation with Kevin's talking about platinum and gold, because end of the day, still, you can't talk about great albums without saying the word platinum. And you'll say, you know,
well, the figures speak for itself, doesn't it? One that means how many people actually bought it and how popular it was. It's very simple. This is it. It measures a success.
And the thing is, something that we didn't really talk too much about with the Isley Brothers is how they must have made a load of money from hip hop and R&B in the late 90s and early 2000s, because that's all we did. Teeth stuff off Isley Brothers and rehashed it.
Remember also that the Isley Brothers worked with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Okay.
Tim and Bob, these different hip hop production teams. They work with R. Kelly. So they were actually working with the best of the best during the day, you know.
Jeez, man, that's absolutely crazy.
So and there is Ron Isley's wife, Angela Wimbush. She's another hot one as well in terms of production. She gave them a new sound as well, with the lead guitar of Ernest in front as well. So that was another groove during the 80s into the 90s, going on, 2000. So the Isley was relevant all the time, but they kept their unique sound, you see.
Yeah.
Very important sonically. You always have to keep that unique, distinctive sound, but yet at the same time, you're upgrading the quality of your production and keeping relevant. It's a balancing act,
And you can do that through practice and exercising to exercise that releasing muscle, and that's what they did, mate. And that's how you get a unique. That's how you have a unique voice, a big voice. They might not have had. They might have done things in terms of a lot of music, but at the same time, they gave a lot of people a massive catalog, and they can be off that catalog alone. They can be just doing bits, absolutely bits, bro. And listen, bro, thanks for coming on, man. And I thought I had to hit you up this afternoon because we did touch base, but you did. Brother Kevin did stop me, guys. I said, Kevin, let's talk about it. He said, no, let me give my facts and figures. Yeah, let me just delve into this and just the important elements and we're gonna be looking at Earth, Wind, Fire. We're gonna be expanding on different some crazy bands out there that have done some mad stuff, and to really look at their output from a numbers game. You know what I mean? It's real important that we look into this and be inspired by this to know that we can do this as individuals. And the 50s wasn't a period where black music was socially, black people were socially accepted. You know what I mean? People.
Let me just correct that.
Okay, cool. Go on.
Yes, the black people weren't socially accepted, but black music was selling, bro.
But that doesn't. That doesn't make sense.
It's a double-edged sword, actually.
Yeah, go.
It's like moral departmentalism.
The one tag group is like this. The one Bob Marley, but don't want the people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Bob Marley's a top hit, while Stephen Lawrence is getting killed. You know what I mean, bro? Like that. Does that make sense? You know what I mean, bro? Like there's just one element of it's a very weird thing for me. And in the 50s and the 60s, you've got the Vietnam War was going on, and Muhammad Ali was making his stand, with some absolute craziness. The Olympics were going on, the fist pumping there, and all this period there. But as you said, bro, our music was popular. You mean black and white, and it really is something which we can not look at our social status and say that they don't want us, but they want whatever you do. If you do with quality, it'll break cultural barriers. And if we do what we do at our best, we will break cultural barriers. Even if they don't like us, they want us in our football team, they want us in their basketball team, because we can deliver, and we can deliver musically. Let's do it, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm at right now. Kevin, thanks again for your time about the Isley Brothers. I can't wait to put this up on YouTube and for people to hit this out. And guys, we haven't gone into any great detail, but we want to bring across some of the elements and the details, and actually bring an application part to history. History is an applicable part, and it's something that's important for me. You know what I'm saying? We apply history. Kevin's a historian. And we're not just here about blarting numbers, but the reality show is that we're here to talk about the numbers and see how we can apply it to ourselves. Yeah, bro. Appreciate your time and effort, bro.
Either way,
okay, go on.
Just a quick thing. Was the visually okay?
Bro, visually okay, brother. Visually, don't worry about it, brother. I got you, man. There's people. Kevin's on the YouTube. For anyone who's not on YouTube right now that's listening in, you know what I'm saying? Kevin's there visually in the park.
I was actually just checking, because I'm going to get some new equipment. I was just saying that could you actually see me okay?
Yeah.
Was concerned about.
Yeah, man, I know what it's both the iPhone does amazing things.
Okay, my main concern is to get the data out, the images, that's what I'm concerned about, and to empower the musicians and the creators and people who are interested in what our people did.
You hear that, people? Yeah. No, 100%. No, 100%, man.
Okay.
Listen,
Good.
bro, appreciate
Fantastic.
that, man. And I'm going to play a little tune just to finish off the show with. But thanks again, Kevin, for dropping up some gold nuggets there about the Isley Brothers. I'm going to do a little bit of research and listen to a couple of their jams a bit later, yeah?
We speak soon. Okay?
All day, every day,
Take
brother,
care.
man. Take care.
Yeah.
God bless you, man.
Rich blessings, bro.
Blessings,
Bye-bye.
man. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Visit us for updates and shows at affinityextra.co.uk.